Hello, everybody, and welcome to my next review of a Disney animated classic, The Little Mermaid, released in 1989. Sorry. So, the basic plot of The Little Mermaid is, and it centers around this young mermaid named Ariel. She's about a teenager. Oh, fuck. Sorry, something just shook there. She's a young teenage girl, about 16. She has a fascination with the human world above. However, in her culture, and her father's the king, it is forbidden to have any contact with the human world. And when she does this, things don't go down well with her father. She has a bit of an emotional breakdown and then is deceived into making a deal to become human for 3 days in order to win her true love, whom she saved in a shipwreck. And then it becomes a race to stop Ursula from stealing Eric from Ariel, and then and stop her from ruling the seas, and that's pretty much it. So, The Little Mermaid. Now, this is quite an interesting one because when I was younger, I thought this movie was really just girly. Like, I thought it was just like for girls, which, I mean, it is aimed for girls. Whether young or teenage is never really stated. However, I revisited this movie a couple of years ago, and to my surprise, I actually really enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a more girlier kind of film, but there's no reason to say why guys can't watch it and enjoy it. If you're a fan of Disney, you'll like it. It's a wonderful film. Excuse me, I'm coughing. It's a wonderful film, it really is. It has a lot of charm and a lot of heart, all in the right places. And the story is so great. It's a great story. I mean, as well as the fairy tale aspect of the story, it's really a story about adolescence and Ariel's struggle. Ariel's, growing up. She grows up, and it's about the time in her life when she's kind of discovering more about herself, and she's becoming a bit rebellious. She's a bit of a brat, and she doesn't necessarily have the best relationship with her father. And yeah, that's where the story really fuels. And then, I think it's great because it's dramatic and it's exciting, and there's a romance and all of the usual Disney stuff, and there's comedy as well. There's action. There's a lot in here. There's quite a lot in here, and it's not a long film. It's 1 hour 20 minutes, so it all packs in quite a punch. Let's talk about the characters. Of course, Ariel, who's our main protagonist, she's the young teenage mermaid. She's very relatable. She's one of those. She's pretty much the stereotypical teenage girl, but I mean, someone who's a bit rebellious, can be a bit bratty. Not all girls are like this. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying as a generic sort of general stereotype, that's generally what they're going for. And it's definitely interesting because of her relationship with her father, which is probably something that most of the male audience could relate to. If they have a daughter, they're probably like, yeah, I've seen this before. Or yeah, and it's very interesting. She's voiced by Jodi Benson, who does a good job, although she only voices her for really one half of the movie, which I'll go into later on. Is it just me, or am I the only person who has an attraction to this one? I mean, she's a mermaid, and she's really she's hot. I mean, this is a drawing. She's a drawing. Is it weird to fancy a drawing? I mean, look at her. She's beautiful. And that hair, though, my God. Sorry. She's attractive. What can I say? Other characters. You have sort of all the undersea characters. You have King Triton, who's her father. He's not in the story that much. When he's there, he's an important character. There's some interesting scenes with him, with the relationship with him and his daughter. He's trying to keep the seas under control, but at the same time, he's not listening to what she's saying. Oh, God, I'm sorry. Yeah, he's not listening to what she's saying. he doesn't listen to her, he doesn't understand her, and by the end of the story, he finally accepts it. He finally accepts, okay, this is what she wants. I can't stop her. I can only love her as much as I can, and you know, he realizes the lengths that she's gone to because she loves this. She's proved that she loves this guy. Um, and by the end, the last line of the film, and she says, "I love you, Daddy." That's a great line, and I mean, cheesy might be a bit cheesy, but it's perfect because it fits well with the story, and there's a nice arc. It's like, yes, sometimes a relationship with one's daughter or one's father can be a bit destructive at times, but there's always a way to move forward, which is what I think this film teaches really well. The idea of adolescence and the idea of how that affects family, which is great. You got the side characters. The best side character has to be Sebastian, the crab. He's the Jamaican crab, voiced by Samuel E. Wright. He's just hilarious. I think he's absolutely funny. And he sings a couple of the songs in this movie as well. I'll go into the songs in a minute, but he's fantastic. Um, you've got Flounder, who's like the yellow fish. I don't know what breed of fish it is, but yeah, he's a friend of Ariel's. He kind of, after the first like 20 minutes, he's just kind of there. He doesn't really do much. He's in the story. He's just kind of added in for the sake of it. So, yeah. Also, another character, Scuttle, the seagull. He's funny as well. He's just this lovable idiot, and he made me laugh quite a lot. Again, he doesn't do too much. He's really just there for comic relief. um, and you have Prince Eric, who's the sort of the main love interest for her. He's good. He's all right, I guess. The actor does a competent job voicing him. But there's not much to his character. He's just, dashing prince. That's really it. So he's a pretty generic prince. But he's pretty decent. You have the villainess. She is fantastic. Ursula. Wow, she is one of the best Disney villains. She's so good. She's so scary and she's so sinister, and her song is amazing. And the way she manipulates Ariel in that one scene is just brilliant. And she's so scary. And yeah, she really pulls the strings throughout. She's fantastic. She is just so good. And the story has a great pace to it. There's a lot that happens. And it's very dramatic. There's a lot of dramatic scenes here. One of the most dramatic scenes being when Triton destroys Ariel's statue of Eric. When he's finally just had enough of her defying him, and then he goes too far by destroying her collection. That's very dramatic. The shipwreck scene was really good as well. That was very intense. The climax was very dramatic too. That was great. So Ariel's transformation scene is just brilliant. The music, the songs, and the score are just brilliant. It's classic Disney. What can you say? It's classic Disney. Songs such as Under the Sea, Kiss the Girl, great songs. Part of Your World, and one of the best, probably my favorite of the film, Poor Unfortunate Souls. Just amazing. That is my favorite scene of the movie, is when Ariel has her transformation into a human, and Ursula sings that fantastic song, but she does that massive spell, and then she goes, "Now, sing." Ah, and then the melody kicks in. It's just so, I got chills from watching that scene. It's just a brilliant scene. And I mean, the opening song is the weakest. Fathoms Below, it's called. It's when they're on the ship. It's basically just there to kickstart the movie. It doesn't really do anything. I would have cut that song out, to be honest. It doesn't really do much. I would have just started with seeing that fish in the water rather than have them have that scene on the boat. I would have just cut straight to the sea, to Atlantica, which is where they all live. And then obviously there's the sisters song as well. Ariel's sisters don't really do anything in the story. They're just there. Like, why does she have so many sisters? Like, they're just all there. They don't contribute to the story whatsoever. So I thought either develop them more or cut them out. There's no need to have them all there. I will say this: as much as I love this movie, it is the biggest problem I have with it is that it's a little bit too dark. I mean, I forgot how scary this movie was when I revisited it. I mean, as a kid, I always thought I didn't think much of it because I thought it was for girls, but um, you know, it's really quite dark in the way it's sort of lit and color. You know, the color palette of it is quite dark, and the way it's lit and the way it's done. There's certain scenes, like especially some of the Ursula scenes, are really dark and scary. So a lot of young girls are really going to be scared. I think this is kind of alienating your target audience a little bit by making it so dark. I'm okay with you doing dark stuff, but you know, I mean, it was done tastefully. It was done with a purpose, but at times it was a bit overbearing. It was like because this is more of a girly kind of film, and it's more of a kind of a you know, I mean, it's a dramatic story at its heart, but the tone of it is kind of more fun as well. You know, there's a much more of a fun sense. But I feel that the dark tone kind of overtook it a little bit because there's some lovely scenes in the second half of the movie where she's human and she's going around with Eric, and you know they're falling in love. So that was really nice, and you know that's part of the girly aspect that it's romantic. Some of that was in the first half as well, but I feel like mainly the first half of this movie is very dark and very intense, um, which is a bit which is a bit bizarre. But you know, it's fine. You know, it's only it is a problem, but it's not a major problem. It doesn't affect it too much. But it would have been nice if they could have just refined the tone a little bit, pulled back on the darkness. Um, I think the animation is absolutely brilliant. The animation's never been a problem for Disney, and their drawings are so detailed, and it's great. And seeing the differences between the undersea world and the human world, in that one of them's darker than the other, is really quite interesting and really quite extravagant. Um, I will say this: they do rush to the climax quite a bit. Like, you know, they just start to fall in love, and then they nearly kiss, and then they don't, and then Ursula washes up on the shore as Vanessa, as they call her, and then they just go straight to their wedding. It's like, oh, okay, that was very quick because this movie's trying to tell a big story in 80 minutes. It does feel like feels a bit disjointed towards the end, but fuck sake, stop messaging me when I'm recording. Um, Sorry, as I was saying, yeah, it feels a little bit disjointed towards the end. They just kind of rush to the climax, and then they have the climax, which is fine. The climax is great. It's also quite scary with Ursula becoming massive, and her death is really dark as well when she gets stabbed by the master of the ship. Like I said, the dark tone overtakes the movie a little bit. Um, but it's a very strong movie. I can't complain. And the comedy's great. It made me laugh quite a lot, especially Sebastian and Scuttle. They made me laugh a lot. And Louis the cook, he's not an important character, but he was funny. Um, his little song, Les Poissons, like I like that. You know, like when he starts singing in the kitchen. Oh, that's great. And they continue that that feud between him and Sebastian in the sequel. Oh god, the sequel for this movie. You know, don't watch the sequel for this movie. It's pretty much this film in reverse, and it's a worse version of it. So just don't watch it. I never saw the prequel for this movie either. I can't say how that ranks. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is a very strong movie, and the incidental score as well was really good. The score is very charming and has its moments. Um, and I say that it's performed very well. It's a really fun movie. It can be a little bit dark, but like I said, it's a lot of fun, and the music is really trendy. I can see why young girls like it. It's not as girly as I thought it would be, but it is mainly targeted for girls. At times, I do feel like it's confusing who the target audience actually is. I know it's obviously centered for girls, but whether it's centered for young girls or whether it's centered for more mature girls, like who are in their teens, maybe. I don't really know. It's not really, or maybe both. I don't know, but it's never really stated. It's never really explicitly stated because the movie is trying to be dark, and then it's also trying and mature, but then it's trying to be romantic and fun and kind of breezy. So yeah, but overall, I really like this movie, and it's kind of it kind of dwelled on me when I watched it how deep it actually is, and the ending is lovely as well when she gets married to him, and it's really sweet. It's a sweet film. What can I say? So I'm gonna rate this one a 9 out of 10.
Now we can song, now we can run, now we can stay all day in the sun. Just feel and and like
It's not quite at 10. It's not quite there. So, tune in next time when I take a look at Mulan, the 1998 film, which I'm going to review next. I'm going to review them in random order, like just when and where, just to keep it interesting. So, that's my review of The Little Mermaid, folks. What do you agree? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Put your comments down below. Let me know. Tune in next time for my Mulan review. Until then, I'm Mr. Silas11. Thank you for watching, and see ya.